Okay, well, I'm just gonna chip straight in here. So we see Meme Team in red, Charlatans in blue, and Meme Team. Just bear in mind, guys, this match is to avoid relegation from Even Team Championship. If they win this match, they're gonna stay in the league, and they'll be around, they're very likely to stay in the league, and they'll be around for next season. Meme Team opened with the Oracle ban. It's pretty, pretty good, solid ban for red teams. Make sure that blue team can't pick that up. And Charlton's responding with the rock.
Yeah, meme team banning now the APOC, taking away those battleships. Are they going to get tricked into charlatans like duking them into going shield themselves again? Because that would be pretty awesome. What happened to them previously with the Phalanx team?
Doesn't look like those Charlatans go for Raven there, making sure that's blocked out. I think if they were good, planning on going shield, they'd probably want to keep that themselves, or at least let Meme Team waste a ban on it in their third ban. So it looks like here
All
that
Logi. I was gonna say all Logi are actually available, so I think like we're gonna see some pretty traditional setups, and it's gonna come down to who has better target calling and who has better piloting, because I don't think there's any sort of juking going on in this.
Yeah, and both teams could go for the same. Like both teams could go armor, which would put quite a strain on how many ships are available, or if both teams go shields.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I think well picked up there, Rain. I didn't spot that straight away, but yeah, I could be wrong. I think that's the first time that's happened that we've had no logistics banned. It's kind of what I expected to happen towards the end of the season, actually, as most setups are going to be rotating around defeating logistics. Then logistics becomes like we have to have a setup that beats it. Well, then it doesn't really matter which one we face, so because we can beat logistics. Charlatans clearly going for a shield setup, so they're the second team to ever choose to go shield in blue. They're going Vigil Corex, was their meme team going Punisher Algos. They're going red.
No, the charlatans are going no Logi, and I think this is the theme that they've had.
Oh,
all
they almost
Logi
always
available.
go no Logi.
They opted for none, yeah.
that's
And
interesting.
Not only that, they're mostly a shield setup, but I mean, obviously, it doesn't matter if you don't have Logi. Whereas Meme Team, it actually looks like they're going for an armor setup, which I think is the second time we've seen Red Team do that.
Yeah, Charlton's got to be really careful here with Roke and Raven banned out. If Meme Team ban Tempest as well, which would be the obvious one for me, then Charlton's.
Well,
I guess
Logi, I think they're
going to go for
pretty
Hyperion,
happy.
probably, aren't they?
I think they're pretty happy to just pick up the Hyperion if it's available, as well as probably just an APOC. Well, actually, that's banned, but just a Baden or something else. It doesn't really matter what they pick, just anything with protection and high damage, I guess. They banned the Hyperion themselves, which is kind of interesting.
That is really interesting. I would have thought they'd want to leave that on the table for themselves, because Mean Team ban Tempest now. I think Charlatans have kind of put themselves into a corner, because those two seem the most obvious picks. Let's think of, I'd love to see a Maelstrom. We haven't seen that yet come out, and that has got an awesome local tag, which would kind of fit into the no Logi setup. So it'd be interesting to see here. Really interesting to see here. Meme Team, like, just taking a minute to pause here. They're thinking, hang on a second, Tempest is the obvious ban, but also we don't want to let Harbinger through.
They picked the Augur, which has the small rep, so it obviously has to be in closer range than, say, the Execure. And I'm not a fan of the Augur, but it's always done so well.
They banned Megathron. That seems like a crazy choice to me, because Megathron, although it was, I think it was flown once in the minor league, it didn't win. So it hasn't won a match yet. So curious ban there by Meme Team.
I mean, it does have that good hull tank. It has a decent drone bay too, not as much as the Hyperion though.
Forgive me, it has been picked 3 times, and it has actually won 2 of those. So maybe not such a bad ban after all. I'm talking shit.
Yeah, I think Tess is probably looking for the Abaddon here, maybe, or an Armageddon. Although I'm not sure how useful the Armageddon is again, since everything else that the Charlatans have right now doesn't use captive shoot.
Yeah, whereas Charlatans picking again, they might not be a bad idea. With the Harbinger being obviously a close range kind of pulse razor, and Agora having to come in pretty close. Armageddon wouldn't be such. Yeah, there we go. You see it picked in there. I want to just shut down any of those Meme Team ships that come in close. The Abaddon, I think that kind of like that works in synergy pretty well with the Harbinger and the Agora.
Yeah, the test does have a lot of decent projection. They have pretty big drone base too, because the Abaddon and the Harbinger are very popular because they do have pretty decent drone base on top of the damage that they bring, so they can bring rep bots for the Augur. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. The Armageddon is going to be able to maybe cap out the Augur that does have to come in close to apply reps properly. I believe there's only 4 match points between these two teams. They both have 6 league points, so this match is huge for both of them, and I think it will just easily decide 4th or 5th place.
Yep, and I guess with that, we'll hand it back to the studio.
All right, guys, thanks for breaking that down for us. Meme Team and Charlatans. What a wild draft! It seemed like both captains were trying to do a little dance around one another, and I don't know. Just from my perspective, I think Meme Team are kind of in a really good position here. I really like the kind of setups they took. Kind of confused about the Megathron ban. The Megathron, it is structure tanked. Yeah.
So happily pointed out by both our team as well as Twitch chat. Both the Vigil and the Armageddon are E-warships, and only one E-warship is allowed on the field.
Oh, that is very true. That is something for our refs to handle. We're going to have to kick that Vigil out and probably auto-generate a new ship for them. I believe that is the protocol for it. So we'll have to just have Bay randomly pick a new frigate for them. Or I guess we can have them... You can give them the decision.
Oh, you can make them pick the Armageddon again, since it was the last pick anyway. It wouldn't change anything.
All right, there you go. We'll have them... we'll have Bay have the Charlatans team pick a new battleship for their Armageddon slot and notify the meme team that Geddon is an illegal pick. Good pick. Good heads up, guys. Our ref was our little tool does let a few of these things slip through, but at least it works. The first week, if you guys were watching, we gave the tool to the Horde guys and Clever Girls, and they managed to break it for the entire day. We have no idea how they did it, but every time they touched it, it broke. It was awful. So now we'll make sure to update this list so you can see what the Charlatans choose instead of this Geddon. I always thought it was a kind of an odd pick, anyways. It didn't really synergize too well with them. And if they can't pick it in a quick fashion, we'll probably have Bay pick one for them. And he's pretty good at randomly picking stuff, so that'll be fun. But yeah, we mentioned before that the meme team did ban the Megathron. The Megathron is structure tank, so it has a lot of EHP, so it works really well in Lodulus teams, but it does have to be very close to one another. It kind of works as a poor man's Hyperion in some ways, but it does have much better tracking. It is a little bit more nimble ever since the battleship rebalance. So in terms of these setups, I believe Sutonia did mention how close these guys are in the brackets right now. Like it's a must win for both teams. The loser almost certainly gets relegated. Actually, yeah, the loser does actually get relegated mathematically, and they get kicked out of the EVNT Championship Series for next season. They can't come back. They'll have to wait an entire season sitting on the bench just to put an application in for the following season. So the loser really kind of is in a bad position here. And the winner, depending on how they win, if they do win a domination victory, they could be at the top of the leaderboard. You know, you never really know how that's going to work out. As it stands right now, Clever Girls are sitting at the top with 9 league points. Charlatans and Meme Team, Charlatans and Meme Team both have 6 league points. The tiebreaker does right now go towards Charlatans because they have scored 4 more match points. So this is going to be an instance where every single explosion matters. Not just whoever wins or loses, but everything matters. Every little frigate that blows up is gonna be incredibly vital.
Yeah, and if it's a close match between them, let's say each team scores a lot of points, and Provi-Shots lose their next match, the Provi-Shots could also be relegated too, and Meme Team and Charlatans could both stay in.
Yeah, that would be absolutely wild, depending on how many points are scored. That is crazy. It's amazing that for a few weeks here, and everyone plays one another, and it always comes down, or it has been always coming down to the very last day. Like the very last match of this minor league team will determine who wins, and the penultimate match is going to decide who goes to the losers bracket, or gets eliminated, and who kind of stays in. It's so tight up here. There's so much parity between these teams. It is great. And in order to celebrate this, I'm gonna have the drawing for the IGC Apocalypse skin, which will give away either before the very last match or right after the very last match. So go ahead and type in chat. Well, that's a good thing to type in. What's your favorite Titan in the game? It's just you can even choose a Vanquisher if you want, because it is all black and cool. But what's your favorite Titan? Either something that a ship that you want to have, or a ship that you just think looks really pretty. Go ahead and type it in chat there, and we'll do a draw in the next couple minutes here. Or actually, we'll do a draw after this match, and kind of give away that IGC Apocalypse skin. There are only 421 of them in the game. And so it'll be, and they'll never be made again. This is the only way to get them, unless you know someone on one of these teams who's going to hand one out. And in terms of what these guys are fighting for, this is the minor league finals, guys. The winners will get 30 skins, like whoever finishes in the top, and they will also get promoted to the major league for next season. The second place team will get 25 skins, and they will also get promoted to the major leagues. And then the next winners get 20 skins and 15 skins, and then the two losers, we just give them the boot. They just get kicked out. It's pretty great. And we do have the new updated ship for you. Instead of the Armageddon, the Tempest has been picked for the Charlatan side. So Meme Team will have to pick up the Tempest. I believe it was randomly picked by Bay Arche himself. I'm not entirely sure. Bay, is that what happened? Did you have to randomly pick a ship for them?
Yep, so I just loaded up a little website there that automatically picks in. I put in the remaining battleships that are available, and I hit the spin button, and we got Tempest.
All right, so that's how it works here. If there's anything that slips through our referee judge system, we'll pick up something that works in the most fair and equitable way we can imagine. And Tempest, Tempest does have some pretty okay synergy. What do you think how that's going to affect the Charlatans team?
Oh, we actually thought they would maybe go for Tempest, not the Armageddon as well. So I mean, it's not terrible for them. They could have got like a Typhoon instead. So I guess they're kind of
or Dominix. They could have also picked the Dominix. I believe we've seen one Dominix, and I don't remember how it fared. I kind of have a feeling it fared pretty awful.
Yeah, we saw. I think it was Suleiman's team, Rep Cartel Mark II, that had the Dominix. It was kiting out for quite a while, but it eventually lost, I think.
Yep. So the Tempest, just so everyone knows here, it does have an MWD, so it's pretty nimble for a battleship. It has an XL ASP, so it has an active shield tank, so it doesn't really need Logi to survive. It's got autocannons, and it also comes with a heavy newt, so that's pretty good utility, a web, and a smart bomb. That smart bomb we've seen be incredibly pivotal, clearing out these rep drones. Rep drones are the only Tech 2 variant of drones that we allow in this tournament, and we see a lot of teams rely on them. The drawback of them, of course, is that they are very, very susceptible to getting just completely blown up. And the smart bombs on this Tempest are pretty good at blowing them up. And paired with that Micro Warp Drive, they can just run in there with a swarm of drones on the primary target, and just a few pulses, and they are all gone. So Rain, what are you kind of expecting to see in this matchup here between Charlatans and the team?
Well, I'm hoping for some good explosions. But I don't know. I think when the Charlatans captain, Jose, depending if it's Portuguese or Spanish, he mentioned that all of his Logi pilots were actually, he said he had 3, and he said all of them were gone. So that is why they didn't actually had all Logi options available, and they didn't pick any. So I'm hoping to see I mean, I love like the full DPS setup against, you know, a traditional like armor Logi setup or like shield Logi setup, but here we have armor Logi, so I'm hoping to see some pretty good fights and some pretty solid target calling. I'm interested to see how this Augur will do, because I don't know, I still, despite the Augur's performance in the past, I still don't have faith in it, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the Augur is a pretty okay ship. We saw Meme Team use the Augur in a previous match that they played to perfection, really. I mean, it went out of range for a little bit, but as soon as it came back, it saved its Hyperion, which was baiting exquisitely to 25% structure. And it was just sat there, and it just made the other team completely overcommit. Their Drake overheated their launchers. The Rogue just sat there and just had to just exchange blows with it and just tried. They were like, "Oh, we're almost there," and they just wasted everything on that Hyperion. So it'll be interesting to see how that Augur is gonna fare this time. So Sutonia, what is another type of linchpin that you think are going to be important in both of these setups? What does each team have to do on paper, at least, to secure a better chance of victory?
Well, I think with the rapid light Caracal, what you need to do as the Charlatans team is you need to kill something before the Caracal reloads. You need to take a good chunk out of the setup. In the past, we've seen the Caracal setup win whenever it kills the Logi. We've seen a few extras die to the Caracal before the Caracal reloads. Normally, the Caracal dies first, but I mean, if the Caracal dies before it gets a read, after it's sort of is clipped, then that's fine, really, if you trade a Logi for it. I think we saw Charlatans win with it before. They killed the X-Cube just before the Caracal died. I think they're probably going to try and do the same thing here. They want to kill that Augurer before the Caracal has to reload. Because if the Caracal reloads, then that's their cruise option, not doing anything for 35 seconds. And during that time as well, the Augurer will be able to rep stuff up to full, or if it was getting shot, then the rep bots from the Abandoned Harbinger are going to help it get back up to full again. That's the main problem with the rapid that Caracal is it has burst DPS, but if you can survive the burst, then you can generally like get back up to 40 HP before it gets the next clip in.
Yeah, and the Charlatans have paired their burst Caracal up with a Hurricane, and the Hurricane in this format has 720s, so they're hoping to blap things pretty quickly, or at least to try and get things off the field real fast. Meme Team, though, have kind of an answer to that a little bit. In their tackle frigate, they have a Punisher, which is one of the most durable frigates that you can take, not only in this format, but on Tranquility as well. If you see a Punisher sitting in a smaller minor complex, you should probably not attack it, guys. It's probably bait. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it can live forever. The Algos, however, the Meme Team Destroyer that they chose, is very susceptible to this alpha. If this Hurricane, Korax, and Caracal all get good shots on it, it could die in one volley with these Vigil Paints. So I think that's going to be Charlatan's best strategy. And but on the same time, they do have an Abaddon, which is one of the most underrated ships I think we've seen in the minor leagues. People just kind of glance over it. It does have some tracking problems, but paired with that Punisher, who can tackle and hold things and screen off some ships, I think it could be good. So Tony, what do you think about the Abaddon in this format?
Oh, the Abaddon does a lot of DPS at range. The only problem is that it has really bad tracking. It doesn't track as well as the Oracle and the APOC, and we saw in a few previous matches, like MLG swag piloting from like Scythe pilots, like going on the guns and stuff like that. So I think if Meme Team end up losing some of their support, there's a good chance that the Charlatan side might be able to just abuse the fact that the Abaddon doesn't have that good tracking, and if it doesn't have support ships like holding things down for it, then they can definitely exploit that, I think.
Yeah, and we're just waiting because of the illegal ship that the Charlatan team chose and we're switched off of. We're just waiting a little bit for these guys to get set up in system. But if you missed it before, we will be giving away, if you see on screen now that in the background, that beautiful Apocalypse skin, we will be giving that away. Just type your favorite Titan, just like your favorite Titan in chat, and we'll go ahead and log it after this match here and kind of give one away. It'll be pretty dope. It's one of the prettiest skins ever there, and I cannot wait to see it. And we do have just a few issues still going out with people taking illegal scripts. Our referee, Darius Johnson, is on the case, though, making sure these teams remove all the proper scripts before they get to hit the battlefield. Should be pretty cool. Yeah, you should be fine. Absolutely fine. Just a couple more minutes here, and oh man, some Twitch guy with the name of Douchebag has chosen the Vanquisher. I believe the Vanquisher is probably the most douchebaggiest Titan there is. It is the Serpentis Titan, super expensive, but it does manage to get a web bonus, which makes it incredibly nasty. It makes it basically the Blap Titan of old. A few little differences there, that it can die super mega ultra fast compared to the Blap Titans of old. See a lot of love for the Erebus, great Titan. Ragnarok used to have my favorite Doomsday ever. And if you guys are still kind of alt-tabbed from watching the MTACO fight, that thing's still dying. It's just dying slowly, you know. We're at 10% tie-dye in MTACO. I mean, it might have exploded. I'm pretty sure it hasn't yet. Not too much is going on there, though. Just lots of dudes shooting a big shiny thing, hoping it goes boom at one point. And Suetonia is right. The Avatar is, in fact, the most phallic. For all you guys, if any of you guys are alpha pilots, you can just check out what the Avatar looks like in game. And you can check out the thorax too. Might as well. It'll bring you a little bit of a giggle knowing that the thorax used to be pink a few years ago. All right, let's see. Oh, the teams are finally hitting the field, so I can stop talking about pink thoraxes, boring EVE history. Let's go ahead and get a prediction, since this is going to be a pivotal match. Bay, what do you think this match is going to go to? Charlatans or Meme?
I think it's really close. I think it will go to Meme Team in a really close match.
All right, Rain, what about you? Who do you think is going to take it?
Charlatans.
All right, so Suetonia, you get to split it. Who do you think is going to win, Charlatans or Meme Team?
I like Meme Team set up a bit more, but I'd love to see the No Logi teams win, so I'm going to go with Charlatans.
All right, so let's kind of 2-3 or 2-1 split on Charlatans. You know, I'm going to go with Meme Team. I think they've got the swagger. They won in convincing fashion and in great fashion earlier today. So I think they're going to sort of put their slumps to sleep and, you know, keep on owning. I personally cannot wait. And I just got a text message from Chesser saying that he is watching and he has voted for Team May, which I believe is the Meme Team, but he spelled it out May. So, classic Chesser right there. Some high tier pronunciation for these teams and team names. All right, so man, just have a few more technical issues. A pilot on the Meme Team side needs to relog. He's actually a pilot flying a very important ship, so I guess we'll give him the ability to relog to fix his camera issues. Sometimes with these tournament tools that CSV has so graciously allowed us to use, there are a few mistakes every once in a while. These things don't get used all too often. It's used for the Alliance tournament and then events just like this. So it should be cool. If possible, hopefully we can get the standings, the updated standings up on the screen. If not now, we'll do it right after. But sitting atop the first spot right now is the Clever Girls team, who just barely secured a #1 finish, or just barely missed out on securing a #1 finish. And they're sitting, hoping, waiting for other teams to screw up, basically. Their fate is no longer in their hands, and they're dealt that blow by their frenemies. No, not the frenemies. By their older brothers who kind of like to beat them up in Burnt Out, who are relegated out of the minor leagues and out of the EVT Championship Series. So let's see how that's going. Try and bring it up. As I mentioned before, and as Suetonia mentioned, and as everyone mentioned, the winners of this match and the loser of this match, the loser almost certainly relegated. The winner could potentially go out, depending on how they win, and finish in the top 2 and get that top prize. So I'm quite ready. And
Super close.
it is super close. And the final match of the day, Froggy Shots versus Phalanx, will actually decide who finishes first. So, man, should be super wild to say the very least. And the teams are in warp now, so we've got about 30 seconds until the match starts. Swing over to Twitch chat here. Can we discuss the colorful thing behind me? Okay, so if you guys watched in previous weeks, you saw me from my old office where I had shelves that Twitch chat called crooked. I then put a ball on there to show that they were perfectly balanced and not crooked, totally good and not bad at all. So now I have moved, so I am in a different office, and a lot of my furniture and belongings managed to get lost, including my computer. So I kind of don't really have all that much. So I have to wait for a few things to come in, and then I can kind of hang up some shelving in a very awkward fashion and probably crooked to the naked eye, but totally not crooked otherwise, because I'm good at hanging things with laser levels of things. It's the house that's crooked, not me. All right, teams are finally warping in, so we got maybe 15 seconds before the match starts. I cannot wait. Your commentators for this match will be Rain and Bay RJ. Cannot wait to hear what they have to say. And we are ready. Just got the word from Bio. Go ahead and take it away, Rain and Bay. Let us know who is going to win and who is going to be relegated.
Hey, I'm Rain, and I'm joined by Bay RJ, and we're going to be commentating the Charlatans versus Meme Team match. So you see Charlatans on the red, and they have a Tempest, Hurricane, Caracal, Corax, and Vigil. Bay, what did Meme Team bring?
Meme Team have got Abaddon, Harbinger, Ugura, Algos, and Punisher, and they have all warped in at 50 kilometers, whereas the Charlatans have all warped in at 30 kilometers, and we've got 15 seconds until the match starts now.
And the only difference is the Tempest actually warped in at 0, and they're at a 90-degree angle, so even though it's 50 and 30, they're still pretty close, especially because they're both on top plane, so they're pretty close. And the match is just now starting.
Yeah, they're about 50 kilometers apart from each other, which is probably roughly where the armor team wants to be. In fact, the Hurricane and the Caracal should be able to hit that range as well. Straight away, we see damage coming from the shield setup onto the Augura, and he's straight away into 76% armor and dropping fast.
Yeah, and he does have rep bots on him, as well as that target painter from the Vigil. So, of trying to get that max DPS applied from the Caracal, Tempest, and Hurricane.
Yeah, definitely. He's into 50% armor and he's trying to catch reps, but it doesn't look like he is. He is actually kind of burning off to the side, back a little bit. He can't go too far forward though, in case some target switching goes bad. He is trying to pull range now to get a little bit further away from the Tempest and the Hurricane. The Shield Hurricane in 20% 7% armor. It looks like armor are going to get the first kill here, even though the Agora is low.
Yeah, I was gonna say this Hurricane's dropping super quick, and then the Augur actually went out to over 100, so he's kind of playing with the edge of glory. But he is now, he turned back in and just got immediately destroyed.
Immediately destroyed. So the Hurricane has exploded, and so has the Agora. And so it looks to me like this match is actually looking pretty even so far. We've got Tempest there with his XL ASB. He's got a lot of tank screw that being able to boost, and the Abaddon has got a ton of hit points. But the Abaddon's going to struggle to track the small stuff. Janus there and the Algos being sniped there by the Caracal and the Corax going down very, very, very quick. Jose being me for the armor team. I think this might come down to an Abaddon versus some shield support possibly. We'll see how this pans out. Looks like Punisher is now primary for the shield setup.
Either the Punisher or maybe this Harbinger. I think they put a bunch of drones on this Punisher to try and kind of kill him while they're focusing their fire on this Harbinger. And the Tempest is now almost out of shield.
He's almost out of shield. He's about to drop, and the Harbinger is dropping like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, and same with this Tempest. Holy cow! It's almost like a race to kill the battlecruiser and the battleship, and I think the Tempest is losing that very quickly.
He's out of charges by the looks of it. I haven't seen him boost now for a while, so he's only got his hull left. As the Harbinger's about to hit hull as well, it's going to be pretty quick. This could end up being a very long match if the Caracal and the Korax Vigil can clear his Harbinger and kite away from the Abaddon. Although the Abaddon's got a very long range and it will track at long ranges pretty well. So interesting things going on here. The Punisher needs to die. The Harbinger's about to die. The Tempest clinging on though, so he's going to die. Oh, the Harbinger actually dies first. So the Tempest does actually get a little bit of DPS hot for her, possibly into the Abaddon or the Punisher before it goes. It's still hanging in there. Is it to track the Tempest possibly?
I think the Tempest was actually being destroyed by that Harbinger. So now they have to just survive against the Abaddon, which should hopefully be pretty simple.
I can't actually see any lasers coming off the Abaddon at the moment.
Oh no. Did he burn them out? Could he have burned them out?
Possibly. It could just be my graphics bugging out for some reason or something. But I can't actually see any firing coming off the Abaddon.
I don't see it either. I just see the target painter being applied. That's just that visual.
Possibly BAP 1811 here. Crucial mistake possibly for Meme Team there. He's got no DPS. It looks like Suetonius is informing me that the attack bar is demonstrating that the DPS is reduced to 0. So it looks like the Abaddon has actually burnt his guns with the Tempest in only a sliver of structure. Guys, this is why you really pick.
Warriors.
This is why you have to pick your pilots really carefully when choosing your roster, because you don't want pilots that are making this sort of mistake right at the end of the championship.
I was gonna say, I think even if he did have his guns, Jose actually has his reload off, and it does look like what little attack bar there is probably from like a couple warriors out on the grid.
Oh, this is really rough for me and seeing the Abaddon dropping now as all of Charlatans are laying into him. He's done for, and it looks like Charlatans are going to win this match pretty convincingly, even though had that Abaddon killed the Tempest before the Harbinger, they're a completely different story.
Yeah, and then we're getting confirmation in local that he actually did burn out his guns as well. So now we just kind of wait the timeout for the Tempest to kill him and finish him off.
Bat must be feeling very, very bad right now. I kind of feel a little bit sorry for him. I've made similar mistakes in the Alliance tournament matches myself. You kind of like don't mention it to your teammates, but when you're the last guy on grid and you're not shooting, it's pretty obvious. So he's dropping into hull now. He's about to pop. This is a very fast match, getting us back on schedule.
Yeah, and someone mentioned like thermodynamic skills, and this is on Thunderdome, so everyone has max skills, and he's finally dead. Poor Bap. With that, we'll send it back to Elise in the studio.